Hello, friends. I'm Maloney. Today's episode is a longer, deeper story than usual about a caregiver who noticed something quietly wrong and had to decide whether to speak up or stay silent.
This story moves slowly at first, then builds into something quite powerful. Stay with us.
Let's begin. A new patient.
Maria Alvarez had been a home care nurse for 11 years. She had cared for dozens of elderly patients in their own homes, feeding them, checking their medication, sitting with them through quiet, difficult afternoons.
In September, she was assigned a new patient, an elderly man named Walter Hensley, 78 years old, recovering slowly from a stroke.
Walter lived in a large, comfortable house on the edge of town. His son, Craig, had hired Maria through an agency, explaining that he traveled often for work and couldn't be home every day.
Walter was kind, though his speech was slow and sometimes difficult since the stroke. He loved birds and kept a small notebook by the window, recording which ones visited his garden each morning.
"That one's a finch," he told Maria one morning, pointing weakly toward the window. "Small, but stubborn. Doesn't leave even in the cold."
Maria smiled. "Sounds like someone I know," she said gently.
Walter laughed softly, a small, tired laugh, but a real one.
For the first 2 weeks, everything felt ordinary. Maria checked his blood pressure, helped him with light exercises, and made sure he took his medication on time.
But slowly, quietly, small things began to feel not quite right.
Small, quiet details.
Craig visited only once a week, always briefly, always carrying a folder of papers.
He was polite to Maria, but distant with his father, sitting near the door, rarely close to the bed, speaking in short, practical sentences.
"Everything's fine here?" Craig would ask. "Yes," Maria would answer. "He's stable, resting well." Craig would nod, glance at his phone, and leave within 20 minutes.
One afternoon, Maria noticed Walter looking unusually tired after one of Craig's visits, more confused than his stroke recovery usually caused.
"Did you sleep all right last night, Walter?" she asked, checking his pulse. "I signed something," he said slowly, frowning. "I don't remember what it was."
Maria paused. "Signed something?" "Papers," Walter said. "Craig said it was for the house, in case something happens."
Maria kept her voice calm. "That's all right. It's normal for families to prepare paperwork." But privately, something in her chest tightened.
She had cared for enough elderly patients to know something important. Confusion after a stroke could make it very difficult to understand legal documents fully. Some days were clear, some days were foggy, like looking through frosted glass.
And Walter, she now realized, had signed something on one of his foggy days.
The folder. The following week, Maria arrived early for her shift, letting herself in with her key as usual. Craig was already there, standing at the kitchen table, a folder open in front of him.
He closed it quickly when he saw her. "Just some house paperwork," he said. "Nothing important."
Maria nodded and went to check on Walter, who was sitting quietly in his armchair, staring out at the empty bird feeder.
"Morning, Walter." "Morning," he said softly, without turning. Then quietly, "Craig wants to sell the house."
Maria froze slightly. "Did he tell you that?" "He said it would be easier for me, somewhere smaller, somewhere with people to help."
"Do you want to sell the house, Walter?" He was quiet for a long moment. "This is where my wife and I raised our children. I don't know anymore what I want. My head isn't always clear these days."
That evening, back at the agency office, Maria mentioned her concerns to her supervisor, a steady, experienced woman named Denise.
"He's confused, and confusion after a stroke is normal," explained Maria. "But he mentioned signing papers he doesn't remember, and now his son is talking about selling the house."
Denise listened carefully. "Have you seen any documents yourself?" No, Maria admitted. Just a folder Craig closed quickly when I walked in.
Denise nodded slowly. That's not much to go on yet, but it's enough to document carefully, and enough to raise gently with Walter's doctor.
A difficult conversation. At Walter's next checkup, Maria mentioned her concerns quietly to Dr. Whitfield, his physician who had known Walter for over a decade.
Dr. Whitfield examined Walter carefully, then asked a series of simple, careful questions: the date, the season, basic memory tasks.
Afterward, in the hallway, he spoke quietly to Maria. His cognitive clarity fluctuates significantly, especially in the afternoons. If he signed something recently, it's worth reviewing carefully. His understanding may not have been fully reliable that day.
"What should we do?" Maria asked. "I'll recommend a formal capacity evaluation," Dr. Whitfield said, "and I'll suggest, gently, that any recent legal documents be reviewed by an independent party for Walter's protection, not as an accusation against anyone."
The evaluation took place the following week. It confirmed what Dr. Whitfield suspected. Walter's decision-making clarity was inconsistent, and on the specific date the paperwork had been signed, his notes showed unusually high confusion.
With this information, and with Walter's own consent, an independent elder law attorney was brought in to review the signed documents.
What they found was quietly troubling. The papers weren't simply about selling the house. They granted Craig significant financial authority over his father's accounts and property, far more than Walter had understood or intended.
Walter learns the truth. Walter listened carefully as the attorney explained everything, his hands folded quietly in his lap.
"I don't think he meant harm," Walter said slowly after a long silence. "I think he's worried about money. He's always been worried about money."
That may be true, the attorney said gently, but worry doesn't give someone the right to take authority you didn't clearly agree to give.
Walter nodded slowly, his eyes tired but clear. "What happens now?"
The documents can be reviewed and potentially reversed given the evaluation results. And going forward, any future decisions can be made with a clearer, more protected process, one that includes your full understanding.
Walter looked toward the window, where a small finch had landed on the empty feeder. "I'd like that," he said quietly. "I'd like to understand what I'm agreeing to."
That evening, Maria filled the bird feeder before she left. Something small, something ordinary, but something Walter noticed immediately.
"Thank you," he said, watching the finch peck quietly at the seeds, "for noticing, not just the birds, everything."
What this story teaches us.
This story raises something important for all of us to reflect on.
Reflection 1. Small, quiet observations matter. Maria didn't have dramatic proof at first, just a feeling that something wasn't right and the willingness to pay attention to it.
Reflection 2. Protecting someone doesn't require certainty, only reasonable concern. Maria didn't accuse Craig of anything. She simply asked questions and let the proper process determine the truth.
Reflection 3. Vulnerability can be quiet and easy to miss. Walter's confusion wasn't dramatic or obvious. It came and went, like clouds passing over the sun.
Reflection 4. Doing the right thing is rarely comfortable. Maria felt uncertain throughout this process, worried about being wrong, worried about the relationships involved.
Reflection 5. Dignity matters as much as safety. This story wasn't only about protecting Walter's money, it was about protecting his right to understand and choose for himself.
These reflections remind us that caring for someone sometimes means noticing quietly, asking carefully, and trusting a proper process, even when the outcome isn't fully certain.
Vocabulary from today's story.
Let's learn some meaningful words and phrases from today's story.
Confusion. A state of being unclear or uncertain about something. Example, his confusion increased in the afternoons.
Authority. The official power or right to make decisions. Example, the documents granted him financial authority.
Capacity. A person's mental ability to understand and decide. Example, his decision-making capacity was evaluated carefully.
Vulnerable. Easily harmed or taken advantage of. Example, elderly patients can be especially vulnerable.
Independent. Not influenced or controlled by another party. Example, an independent attorney reviewed the documents.
Try using these words in your own sentences in the comments below.
That's all for today's story. We hope it reminded you how much quiet attention and quiet courage can matter in someone else's life.
If this story meant something to you, please share it and tell us in the comments, has noticing something small ever led you to an important decision?
Please like, subscribe, and click the bell for more meaningful stories like this one.
See you in the next episode of Universal English Learners.
Goodbye, and keep learning with your mind and your heart.